We can provide each with the basic level of support, deploying teams to begin the work required and alleviate some of the worst impacts. We are trying to resolve three critical issues simultaneously: stop the bioluminescent extinction on Seraph, mitigate the effects of the awakened Leviathan on Cygnus, and fight against the rapid desertification on Draco. Estimated cost. The combined cost on all three missions would be approximately 110 billion nebulons. This cost assumes that the effort are run in parallel, leading to efficiency savings, but also potential increases in logistics and coordination costs. Timeline. Given the scale of these missions and the divided resources, we can expect a timeline of around 16 weeks for any significant impact to be seen. This is longer than if we focus on just one mission, but it also ensures that all three planets receive some immediate help. Chance of success. While it is difficult to give an exact figure, spreading our resources will likely decrease our chances of success on each individual mission. A rough estimate would be a 30 to 40% chance of success for each mission. However, keep in mind that even partial success can buy time for these planets and potentially avert the worst outcomes. Potential difficulties. Spreading our resources thin could lead to less efficient work, higher costs, and a lower chance of success. It may also drain our resources and leave us vulnerable to other unforeseen crises. This plan requires careful, near perfect coordination and logistics, and there's little room for error. These are the four options. We, as senators, must choose who we shall save. This becomes a huge problem in this opportunity because we must design and identify who we should prioritize. And if we choose the option of all four, or supporting an option D to support all three, what we are also risking is whether or not any of that is enough to support each of the individual planets. This is what we must evaluate. This is what we must consider. And this will be our challenge as we evaluate the vote moving forward. We are well aware at the moment right now that the voting system is currently down. But fear not, as we can still hold our debates and the voting system will become active. And in doing so, we'll ensure that we'll extend the voting period and additional time slots so all of you can be able to reach it, whether it be tomorrow, through the weekend, or early next week. But for now, it is probably the best for us to proceed with the debate and consider and answer any questions that may be coming here that myself or Sergeant of Arms Vega can answer. And additionally, we can also bring up more of the speakers here as well. So with that, if there are key questions to any of these elements, please feel free to ask them here. If you are interested in coming on stage as well, Sergeant Vega will handle that shortly here and allow you guys to all come up with your own questions, your own feedback, and your own support. But for now, I think what is critical to understand is we're now in a very unique position to recognize that we choose, do we save one, do we save them all, or do we save none? These are the outcomes that we'll play with. And again, you fools, we should have had our army, our clone army could have been incredibly, incredibly supportive in this scenario. And for that, we have now made a brutal choice and decision. But with that, we still have a path forward, and we will use this path forward accordingly for each of these steps. But now, let's open up the debate. If there are questions here, we'll continue to review this here as well. Sergeant Vega, is there anything else you'd like to share here in the moment as we start to grab the questions here as well?
Yes, Chancellor. I've been reviewing the text discussion, and there is some sentiment that given the fact that we did not choose the clone army as you have suggested, and as well have not chosen to update our connection, Senator Circles is concerned that our previous decision-making has made option 4 difficult to achieve. I love the way that you're thinking there, Senator Circles. It's important to approach these votes in a cumulative fashion. These do load up on one another. I don't want us to look at GV-003 in a vacuum, just much like we did GV-002. We have to keep in mind the results of previous voting structures when making decisions on current votes that are live. So thank you so much for being thoughtful with your decision making there, Senator. As the Chancellor mentioned, we'll be opening up the stage for any senators who would like to join myself and the Chancellor up on stage. I do see that we have someone raising their hand right now at the moment. It actually is Senator Circles. That is perfect. Circles, Senator Circles, I will bring you up on stage and I would love for you to elaborate a bit on your thoughts there. As I wait for...
We could bring up Senator... Yeah, we could bring up Senator Circles here shortly. Senator Circles, just feel free to wait on stage here at the moment as we go through a few questions. Real quick, let's continue through these as I have limited time, and then I'll yield the floor to Sergeant Vega here in the next 5 minutes. Senator Edify asks, based on the results of GV002, will there be any impacts associated with their completion against any of the options in GV003? Namely, I'm considering the antimatter energy potential to drastically decrease the cost associated with terraforming, for instance. Senator Edify, you're thinking in the right ways, but again, these will probably take too long to be able to support here in the near term. Even for who am saying that the clone army should have been prioritized, the clone army would not have been able to be deployed in this near term for even GV003. But knowing if we had a clone army already being prioritized for vote, we could have maybe considered it, as the clone army might have been ready near the tailwind of our actions here as well. But for now, you could consider that none of the choices between GV002 have an impact here on GV003 at the moment right now. Our ability to make these investments will happen on their own. They may have impacts on future votes here as well, but for now, consider them separate. But that is a great question there, Senator Edify. Let's continue here as well. Additionally, what we have here is we don't have a vote to do nothing. If you guys choose, we should always use our resources here to at least support one. If you're in favor of choosing for nothing, we would recommend you to choose option D, support them all. That is probably the best outcome to be able to diversify. But remember, by supporting with option D, though, it is one of the larger costs in regard to our budget. It will take over 100 billion nebulons, and we would be stretching ourselves incredibly thin, which means that there is a vulnerability. There will be trade-offs, of course, with any of these moments, but as long as we could avoid disasters here over the next 3 to 4 weeks, it may be a meaningful option. But again, if disaster cannot be averted, we may be stretched too thin, and we may have to deal with other losses or consequences along the way. Senator Cassius Clay notes that he is urging to save them all. It's time for us to band together. But remember, saving them all does not mean we could save them from all catastrophe. What we're doing is that we could limit the impact and potentially decrease. The key factor is knowing that if we support with option D, it is ensuring that there's a lower likelihood of extinction of any of these planets, but it doesn't mean that loss of life will be averted. There is significant damage already existing. And again, this is due to the choices and votes of this Senate. This is what makes it incredibly difficult as well. Oh, I see my arch nemesis, Chancellor Lemon Boy, is here soon and was requesting I'll bring him up to speak, and he can sit here as we kind of get ready, as he is already trying to go after my Chancellor throne. Senator Edify again asks, what is the percentage chance of success in options 1 through 3 if we focus on one of them? You should assume that if we focus on any one of these individually, the chance of success is high. We would put this at between an 80 to 90% outcome rate. There's always outliers to any of this, but with the vast amount of resources, our team feels that we have enough knowledge, enough resources, and enough personnel to support if we prioritize on a single one. Senator Sheff asked for option 1, is there any chance we can completely restore the life and beauty of the planet? If not, the tourism might not be recoverable. So let me answer that first. There is an opportunity to restore it. If there is a solution, we could essentially heal the planet back. It has not reached a point of no return. We still have an opportunity to recover. It may take a little bit of time, but again, that tourism can come back. For option two, is the beast an important part of the planet ecosystem? There are numerous beasts, but this is considered to be the largest beast we have found and would be considered to be one of the most violent as well. This is an ancient beast that has rarely been seen. The last sighting was over 1,500 years ago as well. Option three, is it wise to stop the forming of deserts? Is again, desertification can be balanced. We don't want desertification to take over all of the planet to make it uninhabitable. Once it becomes uninhabitable, the loss of life is immense, and more importantly, the loss of all of the agriculture and culture as well will be lost too. Additionally, that looks like most of the core questions here. Oh, Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy says that your hands run red with the blood of innocence. It is not me, it is not I who have participated in this vote. It is you. I am merely just the Chancellor executing on the choices you have put forth. It is the blood on your hands, not on mine. With that, let me give it back to Senator Vega before Chancellor Lemon decides to start a battle with me. Let us go in the proper order here and allow Sergeant Vega to communicate here with Circles, and then Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy, you shall have your moment. Sergeant Vega, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, Chancellor. I appreciate you attending all of those questions in an urgent matter and making sure that all of the senators are as prepared as possible when making this decision. I also think the voting structure being delayed is a blessing in disguise. It allows us to debate, allows us to have these discussions, and make sure that we land on an option that does not feel rushed in such an important situation. Senator Circles, I did bring you up earlier. Did you want to elaborate a bit further on your stance? Specifically after hearing Chancellor discuss how the results of GB-002 will not have a significant impact on GB-003. Has that shifted your thoughts at all, or would you like to elaborate further?
I had two questions. I actually had a third, but it's been forgotten, so it might pop back up. First, sound check, because I know last time I was up. Am I coming through okay?
Yes, Senator, we can hear you perfectly clear.
First question, the timelines, the weekly timelines, are these Earth-based? As Chancellor was talking earlier, it sounds like these are full week-long basis that we have to deal with.
Correct. We use the Earth cycle here for our times, as this has been more of the universal calendar for our galaxy.
Understood. Second question: has the nebulons been updated at all, or do we currently stand at, by my rough math, we had 81. We approved 2 for roughly 53, which would bring us down to 28 million nebulons. Is that accurate?
That is currently accurate, but there are new revenue streams that we will be introducing here in the next 24 hours that showcase the updated numbers. But correct, those would be the current element. Additionally, we will be introducing a credit that we have been, a line of credit that we essentially have as a Galactic Senate that is essentially extended by all shared planets back to us. This is essentially an additional treasury of roughly 240 billion nebulons as well.
Beautiful. Final thoughts, and maybe I'll remember my last question, but for GV001, the unknown variables were a subterranean city for the Draco, the desertification planet, the Leviathan, which has obviously reared its head. I was personally hoping that the kind of prophecy would speak more favorably than an angry and destructive beast. And then the final one is the spectral entities that are potentially haunting the forests. My initial thoughts, especially from yes, we would probably not be able to get any of these in line in place from GV002, but our where is it? Interstellar communication infrastructure is already weakened, and if that plus our resources of manpower are not sufficient, because we were debating on both the communications and the clone army, then going the third or the fourth option has a high chance, in my opinion, of not being able to succeed. I would believe that from a population and Nebulon perspective, the Leviathan planet, which escapes my memory at the time, may be the most pertinent to choose. It is an unfortunate choice to have to make, but when looking at the life balance of the other two planets, that is where I would lean.
Wonderful. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sergeant Vega.
That's okay, Chancellor. Thank you so much. That is Planet Cygnus that is under the attack of the Leviathan. And just appreciate your thoughtful structure within your decision making, and totally understand your approach here. It's a very balanced one, and as your Sergeant of Arms, I appreciate the focus of a comprehensive outlook on what the future votes could be, and the potential results of previous decision makings is something to always keep in mind. And risk is something that we all have different tolerances for. In senator circles, it sounds like your risk tolerance at this point, given previous decision makings, is weighing on you, and that is completely understandable. Senator Khan, I'm just going to go to the text a little bit here just to get caught up, and then we'll open the door to Shadow Chancellor Lemon. When we voted on Senator Khan says, when we voted on GV-001, didn't we agree that we don't care about the tourist attractions of Seraph, floating cities of Cygnus, and the survival skills of Draco, and accepted their fate when we voted? What would cost the least amount of Nebulons and what would impact revenue the least? Those are very thoughtful decisions and questions to ask. You're right; those weren't prioritized in GV-001, and to see the sudden care and flip of wanting to do option D and save all three of these is quite curious, given that they were disregarded in GV-001. It is something to keep in mind here that high cost and high risk with a low percentage chance of success is something that we need to take very seriously. However, as the Chancellor mentioned, if we do choose something like option D, it doesn't mean that we have to assume that everything will be saved. However, certain aspects of each of those planets could be revitalized, or further damage could be prevented. I just want to keep searching through the questions. Senator Cat mentions delaying our response to any of these three critical situations poses serious risk to the prospective civilizations. We can't allow that. We must try helping them all. Senator Cat seems to share some similar sentiment to other senators here, where there's a focus on option D, not only for what might be best for each of these planets, but from a almost ethical standpoint or politicized standpoint. And I want to make sure that we're not making decisions just to seem like we're the quote unquote good people here. We need to think deep here and make sure that these decisions are sound and made for the benefit of the citizens of each of these planets. Just scrolling here, and then we will open this back up.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Sergeant Vega. Let's allow our Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy, who's been here on stage, to have his points and views here. We'll yield the floor back to you, Lemon Boy.
Greetings, Senators. Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy, self-appointed here, reporting from Sector 8675309-AB+. Good people. I think you may have noticed that, yes, maybe I did try and jump the queue and get my words out before due time. Maybe I did lose a little sense of decorum, but maybe my eyes also see red. I know we're here to pose questions, and so I have a question not only for you, Sergeant Vega, and dishonorable Chancellor Gallion, but for all of the senators present here today. My question is, are you dumb as fuck? or are you stupid as shit? Because that's pretty much the only two options I see right now. Okay? And I know that from everything you've listed out here, you mentioned that the blood is not on your hands, Chancellor Gallion, but I'll tell you right now that were I in your seat, were I to have the power to sway and convince and let my voice be heard as you do, as you loud it over us relentlessly, religiously, day after day, wielding your power and then disappearing into the shadows, which, as we all know, is my realm now. It is my realm, Chancellor. I propose to you an alternate solution, one that will solve all of our problems. Well, the only real problem. As we all know, Planet Chiglius has that damn dirty beast on it, that horrendous Leviathan. And I propose an alternate solution where I, acting as a true chancellor, you strap me to your fastest ship. You give me one orbital airdrop. You let me fall down from the skies with a single Bowie knife and 2 room temperature Stella Artois in my belly, and I'll take care of that. I'll take care of it because I care about these people and I care about this Senate and what happens here day after day. I'll give you a chance to speak, Chancellor.
Well, I appreciate your resolve, and even with your aggressive language, I see your heart is in the right place. Maybe what we can do after this, Shadow Chancellor, is let us give you that opportunity. What it will do is we'll work with our tech and we'll ensure a new option will be added. We will airdrop Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy with a Bowie knife onto the Leviathan and allow him to make his peace with the planet and show us what he's made of. Again, Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy, I am just purely an interim chancellor. I know my time is coming to an end. I'm not here to lord over anyone. I'm here to ensure that this process is safeguarded for each and every one of us. The choices are yours. It is you who get to vote. It is you who must decide what we prioritize. And if you believe that you as an individual can protect this planet, well, then I will simply give you the stage and the floor to do it. And we will offer that as an opportunity. I am unsure if we'll be able to get Stella Artois to be one of the sponsors of this mission, but we can ensure the rest of that can be delivered right here in a meaningful opportunity.
Hours upon hours I have listened to you, Chancellor Gallion, speak, and for once, you say something of sense. Actually, I'll give you more credit than that. You said 2 things that might be true. You are the interim chancellor, and your time is not long here because I'll be damned if I don't see you not 6 feet under, but 1 foot under in a shallow grave if another mistake like this were to occur under my reign as a senator, quote unquote, representing Sector 3425654-AB+. God, it's one thing to just keep on shoveling the blame not only onto me, who, as we all know, is a really good guy, but onto everyone else here who I believe to be of some sort of mental disability and clearly unable to vote for a decent proposal such as Clone Army. I can't even fathom the type of solutions that we would have right now before us were we to have my beautiful Clone Army, millions upon millions of sexy clones.
I am simply on your side. Remember, I am the one who have called these fools. The Clone Army was the best option, yet it didn't even receive one of the top 2 votes. I don't think
we do have an opinion. For once, we hear an opinion from our esteemed chancellor. God forbid that we have somewhat of an insight from our elected leader.
It was shared multiple times, but remember, I aim to be an impartial chancellor. My goal is to ensure the process of vote. So when I give opinions and perspective, I can only give it after the votes are done. This is the role and the responsibility. I am not a president, right? I know you are a fan of President Trump. He seems to be a very large inspiration on your persona. But remember very simply here, my goal is to ensure the votes continue and we have active participation and all of the choices and all of the knowledge is provided. But again, Shadow Chancellor, you ask and you shall receive. You will be airdropped. We will allow you. You will choose your Bowie knife. And again, remember, you will have to take on the Leviathan yourself. Hopefully, that is an option your senators will consider to vote for. And maybe, just maybe, you could save Cygnus. But additionally from that, we'll have to see what else will occur in the votes here too.
Thank you, Chancellor Galleon. Sorry, Chancellor Galleon, in quotes. I now make my pitch to the crowd. Fellow senators, I will not act like this weakling that you have seen before you, this man who wears a clouded cloak hiding in the shadows. Yes, I may be the Shadow Chancellor, but I promise you I will rule this Senate with an iron fist. If the day ever arises, I will have my throne, and you will live like kings. Send me to Chiglius, and let's see what happens.
I appreciate your confidence. I also appreciate that you know how to misstate every planet every time you say it. I cannot wait for planet Chiglius to be a part of our world here as well. But it allows us to at least understand what you offer here potentially as a chancellor. And remember, we will open up candidacy here soon for the next chancellor vote. I, as Galleon, am not here to take power. I have my own path and my own future. And with that, we appreciate your vote. And this is why, as Chancellor, even with your attacks, even with your own incompetence, we allow you to have stage here with all of your fellow senators and ensure that you can at least have your voice protected at all costs. But with that, let us bring up some other speakers as well. And again, Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy, with your self-appointed title, no real man does that. We will still allow you, though, here to stay on stage. Let me bring up here Senator Jeff Corbin next up here on the list and see what he could add. But I must leave here for my next event. So, Sergeant Vega, I will yield the floor to you. You can continue on in this process. I thank you all, senators. Again, we will continue to work to fix the voting system. This is what I will continue to move on to next. And within the next 12 hours, the voting system will be back up. But for now, use this as an opportunity to learn and understand your choices. Do not vote so quickly. Do not vote without the information. Do not vote without understanding the choices of your peers. As insane as Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy has been, he did bring you truth last week, and you did not hear him. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, that will change and you will find the right opportunities. But with that, I'll yield back my time to Sergeant Vega as he can manage the floor from here.
Thank you, Chancellor. And just to comment on Senator Lemon Boy's stance, I will personally make sure that those beers are cold, sir, if that is an option that is chosen from our Senate. Appreciate you putting yourself out there and risking your life for the planet Sir Gorgus. And now that we have Senator Jeff Corbin up on stage, I believe you two have shared the stage multiple times before. Senator Jeff Corbin, I assume you have some thoughts on Senator Lemon Boy's previous statements and would love to hear what your thoughts are on GV-003.
Greetings, my fellow senators. It is quite interesting how we both are always on the floor at the same time. But for once, I think we both are in agreement as to which planet deserves saving. And I dread saying this, but yeah, I'm in agreement. We got to save Cygnus. That Leviathan, I don't know. But I've got a couple of questions I have to ask. First off, how do I put this? What's the chances? What's the probability of this being successful? Because I see a couple of options laid out. So I like without a doubt, I know we cannot save all. It is just not possible. The funds are not available. It's too risky. We will most likely not succeed. I'm so sad at this and just devastated at the possible losses that are about to happen. But I still have to do my duty. I still have to do my due diligence as well and trying to figure out the best course of action to make sure that we're at least successful in whatever we decide to do. So my question regarding Cygnus would have to be how sure are we that this mission we're about to undertake will be at least extremely successful? First of all, saving the lives, which I feel is the most important aspect. And then secondly, to study the mighty, mighty Leviathan, which I'm quite glad that the Senator Lemon Boy wishes to take upon himself and destroy. I don't know how he's going to do it, but if that vote ever came up, I would be the first in line to vote for him to go out there and slay this beast. I would dub him whatever title he feels needed, as long as he ensures he slays the beast. So I just need
Senator.
some like hardcore statistics on this.
Yeah, Senator. Chancellor did comment on the percentage chances for options A, B, and C. We can assume that all three of those are in the higher probability range of 80 to 90% successful. However, I'm not sure what the percentage of Shadow Chancellor taking down the Leviathan himself with a Bowie knife and a couple of beers, but I would imagine it's fairly low. He is going up against a beast like no other, but as Lemon Boy does prove time and time again, he is always full of surprises, so I would not put that chance at 0. But yes, Senator, A, B, and C, roughly around 80 to 90% success rates for A, B, and C.
Okay. And we can
how does that
only
influence
pick
your thoughts there, Senator Jeff?
that is definitely a very good chance of success. I mean, we've worked with less. We've worked with way less. So I would say that's a very good chance of success. And but I can't agree to save all because I am pretty sure that drastically reduces. I mean, it's like a 30-40% chance of success on each.
Yes, that's
so
correct,
there's like
Senator.
there's an extreme chance of failure on all three of them as well. But if we pick one, then we know that we can at least be successful on one. And in my opinion, the most likeliest successful option before us would have to be option B. I say this only because of my own, of course, scientific interest with regards to Leviathan. I will not deceive you all. First off, I would love to save the lives of the people, but secondly, and most importantly, the scientific and technological breakthroughs that would be gained from studying this Leviathan is something that we would also have to think about and discuss on.
Yeah. Yes, just wanted to reiterate something stated earlier as well. Success can be measured in multiple ways, right? Where if we were to choose options A, B, and C, a success rate of 80 to 90% means that we will be successful to a high probability rate, but we do not know what the end results of what that success may be. Same with option D, where the success rate is closer to the 30 to 40% range, and what is deemed successful on that mission, is going to be extremely variable and unknown until the decision is finally made. We can assume that some peace and prosperity, if option D were successful, is restored on those planets. But it is 100% confirmed, probably at this point, the damage that's been done, with the risk being as high as it is on option D, that these planets will never be the same again. And we have to live with that as senators and as decision makers from GV-001.
No doubt.
I wanted,
No doubt. That is definitely a fact.
I
I would
appreciate
like
you
to
coming
add
up on
something as
stage
well,
here.
just to also pull on the heart tugs, I guess. We should also keep in mind that, the lives they were looking at are quite a lot, but also on Cygnus, they have the most, because that's 4 billion lives they were looking at, 4 billion sentient beings they were looking at right there. Just to add a little bit of information, just so you understand.
Yes, it's a lot of lives, Senator. That is for sure. I'm just going through the text here. Senator Cat asked about timeframes for A, B, and C. As far as the exact timeframes, let me make sure that nothing has been shared here on that. I can follow up on that. I assume that if option D was, I believe, a 16-week mission. Yes, that's correct. I would imagine that both of or all three of those missions would be around the 8-week time frame. But I can definitely. Looks like option A does have a timeline. Save Seraph is a timeline of 12 to 16 weeks as well. So nearly as long, but with a much higher chance of success rate. Looks like option B has 10 weeks of a time frame, so very a shorter time frame. With a higher chance of success rate. And Senator Cat, it looks like option C at the very bottom here is going to take up to 14 weeks to see any notable progress due to the severe desertification. So longer time frame there, higher chance of success. But yes, quite similar time frame compared to option D. And my assumption there is option A, B, and C's timelines are similar because we are going to be putting an extreme focus of our resources into those options to make sure that these planets are restored to the greatest capacity as possible, where the likelihood of option D being able to achieve that outcome is less than, but we are trying to simply mitigate effects here at this point in time if option D were to be successful. I hope that answered your question, Senator Cat. I'm going to continue to go through the questions here. Senator Chef has asked, is our agriculture technology ready yet? We can try feeding the Leviathan and communicating with it. We can feed it Lemon Boy too. Senator Chef, no, the agriculture technology is not ready yet. This will still be weeks and weeks away. It was a decision that was just made last week. And so we cannot anticipate that being some sort of resource help here when making this decision in GV-003. Just going through the rest of these questions. That's about it. It looks like we have Senator Circles wanting to jump back up on stage. I think he might have accidentally left. I will bring him back up. I think he has some questions as well about Senator Lemon's proposal. Senator Circles, did you have any concerns about, I was reading in the chat, you have some concerns about Senator Lemon's proposal.
Yes, I dropped down to conserve battery lives. So in regards to Senator or Shadow Chancellor Little Boy's proposal, I fear that if that is the main proposal, too many of our fellow senators might choose that option, as the kids say, for the lulz. And I do not want that to unduly influence our option. I was suggesting perhaps we could have that as a separate vote, perhaps a GV-003.5, just to be sure that we are making the best potential outcome. And then we can choose on our own a yes or no on sending Senator / Shadow Chancellor Lemon Boy out.
Yes, that is really strong feedback, Senator Circles. I believe that this is something that we can explore. What I will do is I will go back to the Chancellor about this opportunity here. But in the end, if Senator Lemon is willing to sacrifice his life here in GV-003, I assume that the rest of the senators here will take that high risk of success into consideration as they make the vote. But I will take this feedback back to the Chancellor, Senator Circles, and see what his thoughts are there. Senator Lemon, or should I say Shadow Chancellor Lemon, would you like to comment on Senator Circles' statement there?
I'm very appreciative of our body's use of my formal title. Senator Circles, I appreciate where you might be coming from, and I appreciate your ability to not bask in my glory. But mayhaps you were listening to our fellow Senator Jeff Corbin and how we have now just seen my very first miracle occur. I have brought back Jeff Corbin's brain from the dead. A man who once thought Clone Army was foolish now sees the light, now sees what I can accomplish as a one-man army alone, by myself, cold, stripped naked, as I drop down from the skies and land upon Chileas and make history. I don't think a side vote is necessary. I don't think any vote is necessary, because one way or another, you pick for that fake disease over on Sarufi, or you go after the nice hot weather over on planet Drake, and I'll probably be there. I'll probably be there on vacation right after I finish my duties. I see what you want. I do, as I see what all people want. As a deeply empathetic person, I remind you that the people of my sector are blue collar. We are average folk. I know I do not possess some superhuman ability to easily defeat this beast, but I know in my heart of hearts that anyone, any member of our galaxy could defeat this beast if they believe hard enough. And that's what I leave you with.
I actually don't think you'll leave us with that. I'm sure you'll stick around, Senator Levin, but appreciate that statement here. I do believe that your willingness to stick your neck out on the line for us and your confidence is unwavering, and I have a lot of respect for that from a sergeant of arms perspective. You could be in my army any day there, Senator Lemon. I do want to jump to a quick question from Senator Skizzy that I think is important. Some things to keep in mind from information provided in the first vote. He is curious if the unknown variables from GV-001 on Seraph and Draco, respectively, in his specific question, when we choose to make an option, a mission decision here in GV-003, yes, those unknown variables can reopen back up to us if we decide to save those a specific planet versus all of those planets. So I want to make sure that Senator Skizzy is aware that those unknown variables still exist within those planets, and if we choose and are successful in saving one or all of them, those unknown variables can reopen and provide opportunity of positive and negative light. Thank you for that very thoughtful question, sir. Just scrolling here. I think that is. Go ahead, Chancellor.
So one thing I just want to make everyone understand is that we shouldn't make the assumption that the Leviathan is truly only evil, right? The Leviathan has not caused any direct harm in regard to attacking citizens. He is only causing harm right through his movements with seismic activity. Remember, this is an ancient beast that can potentially have a less aggressive and pacific approach here as well. So please ensure that you recognize that there may be an opportunity. But again, we will provide that vote, and your Shadow Chancellor will have an opportunity to come in with his awful warm beers and his Bowie knife and potentially save or be consumed. I think at a minimum, it will provide good theater, and maybe in a good positive scenario, we get a great story out of it. But just recognize there is a reason why in our options, we were allowing you to be able to communicate with the Leviathan and potentially find a less aggressive option as well. But again, your vote is your choice. You are the senators. I am merely just a chancellor here to see the awful choices you each all try to make. But with that, Sergeant Vega, we can wrap up and be able to kind of close this out here as well.
May I ask one follow-up?
Sure,
And
you
I would
may.
like to ask a follow-up as well.
The prophecies on the Leviathan. Do we have any more clarification on what those previous prophecies do say about the temperament and what it does when the, call it, end times of this planet are nigh?
I will not be the one who can answer that. I'll have to discuss with our researchers and our archive and the archives here to be able to understand what the prophecies may have noted. Again, it's been over 1,500 years since we last saw a Leviathan. So again, I would proceed with caution would be what I'd be looking at, but more data and more information can be accessed. Sergeant Vega will follow up with that in the coming days. All right.
My
With
follow-up question,
yeah, let's go quickly.
I just wanted to find out because from what I read, it stated it would be possibly communicating or trying to pacify it, and that is why I'm okay with that plan. Are you trying to indicate that there's a more violent approach other than what Senator Lemonboy is trying to suggest?
That the violent approach is sending Lemon Boy with a Bowie knife to kill it.
Oh no. Okay. All right then. Oh, we good.
Yeah, that's the whole option from Senator Lemon Boy here. All right, with
Okay.
that, Sergeant Vega, we could close out this debate. Thank you all for joining here. Again, we will follow up here to ensure that the vote is enabled. When the vote is enabled, we will ensure to give announcements to the all senators here and of course the tribe as well, so that you could all participate here in this journey too. With that, actually, let's stay here shortly and we'll ensure that we give you guys a relic for your participation. Amazing to see again. This is our largest yet 370 individuals, senators, and loyal partisans here within this. When this is a server and a full group of only 1,500 individuals, these are some amazing numbers here at the moment. We thank you for such an amazing audience here. Give us 1 sec and we will set this up.
Yes, and wanted to further add to the fact that this many senators showing up to our GV-002 and GV-003 discussion here, first debate, is just considering that it was a emergency scheduled, and to have you all taking your responsibilities and senatorial duties so seriously. I have to thank you as your sergeant of arms. It is a reassuring gesture of all of you senators to join us here, work through these significant issues that we face, and I am sure that as we continue to make decisions and continue to come together as a Galactic Senate, that stronger and stronger decision making will continue to be achieved. Uh, really, really excited about the outcome here of GV-003 and the fact that we were able to get an entire debate structure in here with 380 of you before the vote was open up. I think more sound decision making will be had. And do not forget that further debates will be also scheduled here. There is a second debate on the events calendar now, and 2 more will be added very, very soon.
All right,
Chancellor,
thank you.
yes, go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
I am just evaluating it looks like everything in our server may be down. We have given out the allocation, but I'm seeing if it's being distributed. It is not being distributed, so we will have to reset the server. But no worries, senators. We will continue another debate and we'll ensure that you'll be able to get this here in the future. With that, we could call this debate to a rest and we'll have another debate tomorrow. Thank you all for senators who came up here. Thank you all for those who are participating in this event. And thank you all for your loyal votes. Again, the voting process will open up here shortly, and we'll be able to give it to you here shortly as well. Oh, it looks like it is finally being distributed. It is working. The role is named When Life Gives You Lemons, in honor of our insanely crazy Shadow Chancellor. Let me just check that it's being distributed correctly. Oh, right, it is working. It should be coming to you guys here shortly. It is working here as well. With that, everyone, we'll let you all go. Farewell, stay safe, and don't drink any lemonade.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.